Pioneer Grandma here. Once again, I have a blank slate. I had to take all my minivan conversion equipment out of there, which is nice that I can turn it back in to a minivan. And I have almost a 4x8 foot space to haul things in. A friend had a funeral and we were doing the luncheon for it, and we needed space to haul ice chests and all those sorts of things. And so I pulled everything out, took it down to the wash rack, took it down to be cleaned, and got it all cleaned out, and now I'm ready to start over again. So it only took me about 30 minutes to take everything out. It'll take me several hours to put everything back in, because I always reevaluate where I want it to go. So I'll take you along. Decisions. Is a cot better, or shall I build a bed? I think from this angle you can tell that there's a big difference in the height from the front to the back of the minivan. The front, towards the front of the car, is almost 6 inches lower than towards the back of this minivan. So when you put a bed in it, you have to take that into account, that your head's going to be 6 inches lower than your feet, or vice versa. So this is a fold-up cot that, in theory, worked very nicely inside my minivan camper. Now I put the head towards the front of the car because the back windows in my minivan don't open. Dodge Caravans and a lot of those other ones, the back windows pop open in the back. This one doesn't, so it makes it stuffy in the back. So if this were the case, I'd be sleeping with my head 6 inches lower than my feet. That doesn't work well. So I got plywood and 2x4s and I built a bed. What I did like about the cot, as opposed to the wooden bed, was the cot folds up. So when I end up sleeping in my tent, I can take the cot out of the minivan and put it in my tent, which is lovely. And it's perfectly stable in the tent. It's very nice that way. So that's handy. Sometimes I put it in my car top carrier when I'm going to sleep in a tent. I just pull it out of there. But in general, I leave it home now. This is on top of the wooden bed frame we built. It's not perfectly level, but it's a darn sight closer to level than the cot was, and it's sturdy. The cot was wobbly. On solid ground, and when I use it in my tent, the cot is fine. But when I've got it propped up on boards to make it more level, it's wobbly and I can't deal with it. So this is so much better. You can see the supporting legs underneath there. We kind of made sure that it was stable with the braces. The legs in the front are markedly taller than the ones in the back. The disadvantage to this, though, is I can't move the bed back. I have to have it in exactly that spot. And at this moment, it was built that way to accommodate a shelving unit that fits at the very back of the minivan. This is right behind the driver's seat. You can see the plywood and the 2x4 structure of the bed. I built the bed at that height at the front so that I could fit these bins that I already had underneath it. That's the food bin, as you can see, and next to it is my bug out bag for my ham radio. This is a little rack that I used to use when we lived in a fifth wheel, and I had it at the end of the island in the fifth wheel kitchen, and I had lights on it. I had grow lights on it, and I'd grow microgreens or African violets, all kinds of things I had on there. Anyway, someone suggested that I turn it upside down so that the little edge on the shelves will keep things from sliding off. Now I can't just flip it upside down because, as you can see, I planned the distance underneath the bed and underneath the shelving unit to fit this long tub that slides underneath there. And I have to adjust the shelves to do that. Plus, there are little feet. This has gotten pretty old and ragged. Boy, it's dirty. There are little feet on the bottom that adjust. So I wouldn't want those on the top. I need those on the bottom. So I'm going to take the thing apart and see if I can flip those shelves upside down. Aha! I took the shelves off, started to put them back on. These things, you notice it says top, and that's because they're thinner at the top than they are at the bottom. They're designed to fit into these that are thicker here than the opening is wider here than it is here, to use gravity to make the shelves stay where they belong. I can't turn it upside down quite the way I wanted to and still have the adjustable feet at the bottom. So while it would be nice to have that lip to keep things from falling out, is it the lip that I want, or is it the adjustable feet? This is always a big question for me and for others online that I've seen. All these seats are folded into the floor. I don't remove anything in a minivan because I may someday want to sell it and turn it back into a minivan. Plus, I've used it for hauling people and hauling cargo, so I don't want to change any of that. But I do like having a seat up in the back. So I'm debating, it would be lovely to have the extra floor space that seat takes up, so that I had all this space here. But I really like the practicality of having that back seat up. And this is one of the cool things about the Pacifica. I'm easily entertained. Look at all that space I get to put things now. I tried it once without the seat, and I really missed that. It started to rain, and I couldn't do my spinning, and I couldn't do my reading. I had to sit in the front seat of the car, and I couldn't spin there. And it wasn't nearly as comfortable. So the back seat stays up. Thanks for watching as I decided how to set my minivan camper up this time.